Beverly, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you were seeing someone. Deanna.
Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and Beverly Crusher has the worst boyfriends. Oh sure, she certainly caught more eyes than Dr. Pulaski ever did, but the Enterprise's red-headed doctor always seemed to attract attention from the weirdest guys. And even when she has 180 pounds of pure British croissant right there.
That's all you really want, isn't it? Coffee and croissant.
Well, why didn't you just say so?
Now, Beverly back in season 1 of the show was more worried about treating patients and making sure her son Wesley didn't drunkenly take over the ship. Again.
So you mean I'm drunk? I feel strange, but also good.
Not to mention trying to send an entire planet of junkies to rehab. But after she came back in season 3, she was turning more heads. Though, girl, those micro bangs aren't for you. Well, Wesley's mom's got it going on, so let's take a look at some of her entanglements.
Passion ignites between Dr. Crusher and an alien ambassador.
Beverly, you're in love.
How about we start with the terrorist who took her hostage? Okay, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure this counts as a romance. At least not on her side. Exactly.
Their leader, Finn, he's not what you'd expect.
No, he's certainly not what I would expect.
But he totally had a thing for her. Yes, it's the planet of the Mr. Sheffield cosplayers. I mean, who else could have inspired that gray streak?
You dyed your gray streak? What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, and they're also involved in a violent civil war. It's never a quiet visit to a planet, is it?
Doctor, it is not safe.
That's an order, Lieutenant.
Once again, Worf's security concerns are proven to be completely legitimate.
I'm sorry if I'd only gone back to the ship.
Should have beamed you up.
Beverly's taken prisoner by the head Mr. Sheffield cosplayer. Yeah, even his clothes look like something Mr. Sheffield would wear. And he has a thing for Beverly.
I don't want you to fear me.
This is Finn, and he likes to pick up chicks by taking them hostage because he needs a doctor, giving them crappy food, and then bragging about hurting people.
People were hurt.
I know. I hurt them.
But, oh no, don't hurt him, Jean-Luc. He's a committed man. More like he should be committed. He made such nice sketches of me that I was completely unaware he was drawing. Really, Beverly?
I don't have to remind you of the psychological impact of being a hostage.
Well, I'm sure he has his reasons, Jean-Luc.
You should be drawing, not killing people.
I can do both.
Yeah, Beverly, there's no way you're explaining yourself out of this one. Like, I get it, you were taken hostage and were kinda stuck, but he still kidnapped you! At least Picard's risking his life trying to get you out of this one after you refuse to listen to Worf's security concerns.
Do you think you've gained his confidence? Indeed you have.
Yeah, Picard was never much of an artist.
The use of color suggests a haphazard melange of clashing styles.
Well, that relationship was doomed. Let's move on to another one. Injured, glowy man with amnesia and enough fantastic powers to knock Worf off a ledge and heal him 2 seconds later? Let's Florence Nightingale that
Is this your way of asking me if I'm getting romantically involved with him?
You said it, I didn't.
In fact, let's also give him a turtleneck onesie that's about 2 sizes too small for him. What, did you all steal it out of Wesley's closet? Look, strange glowing men you've just met with magical healing powers is no foundation for a relationship, Beverly. Although he did manage to heal Geordi's ineptitude with the ladies and Chief O'Brien's trick elbow. Maybe he's not so bad after all. Oh, he's also a fugitive? So, Beverly likes the bad boys.
I'm a bad man!
Also, more than a little suspicious that Worf, who Beverly has it in for, was the one to get pushed off the ledge. I'm just saying!
It's not too late to change your mind.
Oh, he started to remember who he was? See ya, Bev, I gotta phase into a higher existence.
I do not have the words for my gratitude or my sorrow at leaving you.
Typical. How about a passionate romance with a Trill ambassador she met 3 weeks ago?
There's someone new in my life.
Beverly? That's not a Trill.
I prefer the spots to the pointed ears.
Yeah, before DS9 decided they looked much better with spots, the Trill were another dime a dozen aliens with forehead ridges. And Beverly decided to make out with her ambassador in the turbo lift. And then Data interrupts them. Beverly throughout this episode is like, "Oh, Don?" More like, "Oh, damn!" When your summer beach bod isn't quite ready. Oh, that's totally normal.
Bring this guy some Pepto-Bismol!
Yeah, he kind of neglected to mention the giant worm in his belly that gave him his entire personality. You see why you should get to know a guy a little better before a turbo lift makeout sesh, Bev? I'm just saying, he could have mentioned it. I mean, Julian Bashir wasn't put off by it.
Did you tell him about that slug inside of you?
Yes, Benjamin, he knows I'm a Trill. He finds it fascinating.
Did you ever tell me that you were only a single being? Of course not. That was normal to you.
Oh yeah, making things even weirder is that the Odon symbiont got transferred to Riker, and Beverly basically resumed her relationship with the worm inside her co-worker and the ex of Beverly's best work friend, who's also pushing them together.
Except the love.
And things get pretty weird after that.
If you're going to leave, you better go right now.
I'm not leaving.
Heck, Riker straight up passes out from the cringe, and Earthworm Odon has to get transferred to a new host. And that's when Beverly finally decides, yeah, this is getting weird even for me.
I can't keep up.
And then just when you think things couldn't get any weirder, there's her dalliance with her 100-year-old grandmother's boyfriend, who's a ghost who lives in a candle. And this all happened after she read her grandmother's sexy diary and freaked out even Troy, who comes from a planet of naked weddings. I even made an entire video about that episode. Not gonna lie, putting that video together was kinda cathartic because holy crap, what the hell was that episode?
Just dinna light that candle.
Why not?
It'll bring the ghost.
I mean, Beverly was so high on Ronan the Candle Ghost that poor Ned was killed, and she still went back to him to get her quick fix. Girl, you've had some questionable relationships before, but it doesn't get much weirder than this.
You have been using me, Nana, my entire family for centuries!
Heck, Beverly had a history of weird romances long before Ronan the Candle Ghost graced our screens, even before the show even started.
The first man I ever loved unconditionally was named Stefan. We married and had 3 children, in my daydreams at least.
Oh, you had me worried there for a second. To be fair, this was during the Odon episode. With the Odon symbiont and Riker not in, hey, what was his first name? Beverly's not sure if she loved the man or the worm inside the man. And she's only looked at Riker like a brother, and now he's got the Odon symbiont, so... Man, this is more confusing than that scene in Empire Strikes Back. Then there was that fling she told Troy about when Troy was dating Lloyd Braun. You know, that steamy romance that lasted a week, went way too fast, and sounded an awful lot like Troy's fast-tracked relationship.
Well, then maybe I should slow down. Nah.
What is wrong with you, Beverly?
There's nothing wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with the universe.
In fact, Beverly's most stable relationship was with her now-deceased husband, but even he had his idiosyncrasies.
How to advance your career through marriage?
It was a joke. It was his way of proposing to me.
I mean, do I even need to get into Jean-Luc Replicard? Actually, he was probably more romantic than the original. Until he kicked her out of his quarters. But she was into that date for a while.
If I didn't know you better, I would think you were playing games with me.
Alright, I spent a lot of time roasting Beverly's interesting romantic choices. And I certainly don't hate the character. But I always try to end these videos on something to think about. While you can argue that Beverly needed to get involved with some interesting characters because otherwise there wouldn't be a plot, I think there's a way to do that without her love interests being so weird. I mean, take Timothy as Waxana Troy's romantic interest in Half a Life. His situation was definitely unusual and led to the conflict of the episode. But he was such a nice, likable, normal guy. You wanted him and Waxana to end up together. They were perfect for each other! But fate and societal pressures on him made it impossible. I'd argue that Beverly was capable of those kinds of bittersweet plots, but she never really got one. Maybe you could argue Odon came close, but then Riker got involved and made it weird. Did those two ever look at each other the same way again? And Yes, the fault most likely lies with the writers, but it could very well be that Beverly ended up dating a bunch of weirdos because there really was only one man meant for her. And he's alone in his ready room, sipping Earl Grey tea and getting a draft across his scalp. Heck, there's almost a slow burn relationship brewing between the two of them throughout the entire show, and the finale All Good Things implies a future for them. Though hopefully they're in a timeline by the end of the episode that doesn't end in divorce. Look, we don't need to see Beverly on the rebound.
I don't care if you're my ex-captain or my ex-husband.
Well, that's all I have for right now. But what about you? What did you think of Beverly Crusher's romances on Star Trek The Next Generation? Do you have any favorites? Did you dislike all of them? And do you think Picard should have been the one for her? Please, leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another Star Trek video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends. Until next time,
I'm not leaving.